Hi, welcome to a new episode of ET Retail Cafe by ET Retail. We have started the season 2, as you must be knowing about it, and we are on a marathon to cover 100 retailers. How far we have reached? We have reached quite a bit far and planning to complete 50 episodes soon this season. So today we have with us Darpan Sanghvi, who is the group founder and CEO of the Good Glamm Group. Welcome, Darpan, to ET Retail Cafe.
Thank you, Charu. Thank you for having me here.
So, Darpan, I want to understand your journey in retail. I mean, you are leading a group which is dominated by women. So, how the idea came to your mind? How things are panning around? Are you enjoying it? What vision do you see for the brand? Lots of questions in my mind. So, let's start first by how your journey in retail started.
You know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting you say that because I'm not a consumer of my brands, at least the makeup brands. I have started consuming obviously our hair care brand and our skin care brands, but I'm not a consumer of our makeup brands. And the journey started really when I was looking at the Indian sort of beauty landscape. I thought there's an opportunity. There aren't enough brands in India. Let me put it this way. About 7-8 saal pehle, I was looking to start something. And I felt that there aren't enough brands in India, especially in the beauty segment. You know, contrary to what people believe, even today people say, oh, beauty is so saturated, there are so many brands in there, so much is happening. It's not true. You look at even a developed market like the United States of America, which have hundreds of brands in beauty, and every year they still manage to launch some new brand which goes on to become $1 billion brand in a couple of years, right here. So I think India has a lot of opportunity for brands. And as I was seeing that, the insight I saw was very simple. This was around 2016 or so. I saw Indian women were on social media and they are seeing the latest trends and the latest products that are happening in the West. What is happening in Korean beauty? What's happening with Kim Kardashian? What is she using? What's Kylie's lipstick? Etc., etc. And then they want the same thing. Now they had 3 challenges to get the same thing. First was that time there were only those large legacy beauty companies in India. The young DTC companies had not come up. So the large legacy beauty companies would take 18 months in their product development. So something new and hot has hit in the US, it would take 18 months to come to India. Second is the price point. The price point for what a Kylie lipstick sells for over there and you want that here in India, it's unaffordable. And the third is accessibility. Agar aa bhi gaya yahan par, I'm sitting in Raipur, mujhe milega kaise? Kyun wahan par dukaan hi nahi hai, right? And so we went about saying, let's solve this. We will get the latest international trends. We'll figure out what's going on globally. Customize it for the Indian woman, Indian skin tone, Indian weather conditions here, right? At price points that she can afford here, right? But with that same quality that is there internationally. And finally, because we are digitally enabled, I can deliver to the smallest city in India in 1 or 2 days. So that's how we got into it. With that vision, we launched My Glam, which is our flagship makeup brand here. And yes, that's how I got into the beauty business.
But you have made it a content to creation company altogether. I want to understand the challenges that you initially faced giving the shape to your idea and then building the team. Because it's not easy to build a desired team of your required team members. So there must be some challenges at that point also. So if you can highlight.
Absolutely. Charu, there are challenges every day. Doesn't matter what scale you're at, the challenges might change, right? But as an entrepreneur, every day you're solving challenges. Only the zeros in front of the challenges change as you keep scaling here, right? See, I think let's take a step back and say, why did we do content creator commerce? I was talking about how I make the product accessible to this consumer, right? And we said that the customer is going to discover this product online so that it can be delivered to her wherever she is. And we are not dependent upon physical retail. For that, I had to do 2 things. I had to make sure consumers are aware I exist. Now, how do consumers discover things today? They are not really watching TV, they're on their phones. And how they're discovering stuff is on their feed. They're watching it on Reels, on Instagram, on YouTube, on the different social media channels that are out there today. And to be on those social media channels costs a lot of money if you're doing paid marketing. So one challenge we wanted to solve was how in a cost-effective manner I can be on your newsfeed. How can I be on Charu's newsfeed when she wakes up in the morning? How when she's scrolling through her Instagram, one of my products is featured. How that would happen because Charu's following a bunch of creators. And these creators are going about their daily lives using some products. So can I get in there? So the content is getting created by the creators. The content is getting amplified through media platforms, whether it's Miss Malini, whether it's PopXO, whether it's Scoop Whoop here. And so I said, okay, I need to find a way to be able to organically come on the social media feed of consumers in India for them to be able to discover my brand seamlessly. And that's how we took that bet with PopXO, right? And when PopXO and MyGlamm came together, we started the content creator commerce journey. Now, your second question, which is that, hey, how do you solve the team challenge? Because it's such a relevant question. See, I started MyGlamm, a makeup company, a beauty company. That DNA is very different from a content company. Yeah. It's completely different, right here. And if you try to build that team, when your DNA is so different, it's very hard. I think the way we were able to solve it was because we did M&A and the entire PopXO team came on board. When we did Baby Chakra, the entire Baby Chakra team came on board. When we did Scoop Whoop, the entire Scoop Whoop team came on board. And their content creator DNA, we actually acquired. And a lot of great team members came from there. And then we built the team out from here. So look, I think building the right team, the right organizational structure is never easy. We in fact recently shifted to an agile operating framework where we collapse some hierarchies. So you keep learning as the business is evolving. You keep learning what is the right team structure for you, and the right team members. We just have to invest in them, not just money but time, in identifying, nurturing, and then eventually getting the best out of them.
So, what are the three qualities that when you look into these professionals, when you hire them, and you say, yes, these are the perfect match for my company?
And that's a very challenging dilemma. I'll tell you why, right? When you're a growing startup, there is insane hustle. Every day is crazy. There are 20 things going on. There are no set processes. We have to create the processes, right? Now, to create the processes, you want people who've been there, done that. So you need someone with a strong learning curve behind them here. For that, you want to go and get somebody from a large company who's already done it, who has that 15 years of experience. But they have not seen the hustle. They haven't seen the madness. They've worked in an environment where everything is always, it's all set right here. So I think finding that balance where someone can manage the craziness and the hustle of a startup while having the learning curve of a company that's been there, done that, already scaled up, is that critical sort of, I would say, balance that you look for in a person. So you see culturally, is it the right fit? Can this person manage 20 things going around, him or her, right? And does this person have the experience? Now, it's very hard to get someone who does both. And then you're making, choices that, okay, I'm going to get some people who are very strong in the hustle, some people who are very strong with the learning curve here, and I'll try to make that marriage work. So I think if you ask me the three things, right? One is, I would just say the culture and the attitude to be able to fit in an organization like this. Second is their relevant experience, because that's very important as a startup. You're learning everything. So you want people who've already seen it and done it before, right? Here for you. And then I think the third piece would be ideally someone with ambition. Our company, if you just see everything that we've done, is built on audacious ambition, I would say. We love to dream, and then we love to do to get to the dream. So I think having that little bit of an X factor is great as sort of the third thing.
Okay, so I want to understand one thing, Darshan. Darpan, you touched upon hustling, right? So when we talk about the experienced people that you hire, they have some experience, they have been in a culture earlier, and maybe in some old FMCG brands, traditional FMCG brands, which follow sustainability as a way to grow. But when you talk about the new age brands, they want to rush behind things, they want to do everything at a speed. So how do you think that can actually help you match your expectations and take the things ahead?
It's
And what is the right way forward? I mean, build a business in a sustainable way, or build it the way things are moving around at a fast pace?
Oh wow, that's a tough one. Honestly, the second piece of the question is very tough. How do you build a business? Look, and as a startup, you go through these crazy journeys. We as a company, I mean, barely 3 years ago, we were maybe 40 crores in revenue. We'll soon be 1,000 crores in revenue, right? To see that kind of crazy growth is unheard of in consumer business in India, right? That a company in 3 to 4 years has grown 40 times is, we've grown 40 times in 5 years, and I think about 25 times in about 4 years. So it's been, an incredible journey. In that journey, what we are trying to do now is to make sure we are profitable, right? And so I think to answer your question, what is the right way to do it? Do you go the fast-paced way? Do you go the sustainable way? Look, eventually you have to be a profitable, sustainable company, right? But there might be phases in which to gain leadership or to go ahead, you take a very fast-paced approach where you go for exponential growth, you do something disruptive. But eventually you'll come and stabilize at a 20%, 25%, 30% growth rate, but also generating a lot of cash. So I would say that at a different points in your journey, you will adopt a different approach. Maybe in the initial years, you want to do the fast-paced explosion. And then as you mature as a company, you start going in for what you call the more sort of stable growth here for us. So I would say that's probably how we should do it.
Where have you reached?
I think we are in that phase of transitioning from that exponential growth. But we've had multiple S curves over the last 3 years, multiple, right? To now generating profits, right? Our clear goal is to become profitable in this financial year. We've been working very, very hard towards it. And it's not easy. It's not easy because for the last 3-4 years as a company, you've been doing things a certain way with mad growth targets. And now you are, looking at bottom line on every decision. And it was a much needed, I would say, it was a much needed switch of the mind to do. And now when we've made the switch, it's beautiful because we're seeing how money can be generated from every channel, how every decision is being optimized for bottom line, even if you're sacrificing some growth here. So I would say where we are in our journey is we're transitioning from the exponential, explosive growth to a company that is going to be generating profits.
So Darpan, I want to understand from you, because being an entrepreneur, you must have seen lots of ups and downs in your life, right? How do you maintain your calm when, things are not going the way you expected it to be?
I think that happens every day. I think it is because you wake up. I read something about Mark Zuckerberg a few months back where he said every morning he wakes up and he feels like he's been punched in the stomach, right? And now that's him, right? That's Mark Zuckerberg, who's got one of the largest companies in the world, right? And he still feels that way. That's the only way your company is going to progress. As an entrepreneur, if you feel comfortable, then I think your company is going to stagnate. As an entrepreneur, every day is a struggle, right? Struggles could be different. You've solved old struggles, there is new struggle. Struggle could be growth, struggle could be a problem, struggle could be anything. And I think the question that you asked, which is how do you maintain calm and composure, I think is critical because your life from the, when you wake up to when you sleep, you're only solving problems here, right? And it could be problems of the future, it could be problems of the present, problems of the past here. I think you learn. I think you learn how to compartmentalize. I think how you learn how, to deal with one thing at a time here. It doesn't come overnight, that calm and composure. I think if I look at myself, I think I have evolved in my journey. I think my team members will also say that I would get a lot more harrowed earlier. Now I'm a lot more patient with them as well and so I think you will evolve as an entrepreneur as you start going through the struggles here. But if you do not keep calm and composed, you lose your mind because that's the life of an entrepreneur.
So Darpan, when you say that you have evolved, you must be helping your team also to evolve. What steps are you taking in that direction, or what efforts are you putting in that direction?
So a lot. I think when you start growing as an organization, you start realizing the need of it. I remember until maybe 3 years ago, we didn't pay attention to these things because we're still very small and still, just learning and growing. The minute we started crossing about 200 team members, that's when we started to put this focus in the company. It started with making sure there is the right culture. In the right culture, we make sure that we are giving team members the time they need to balance insane work life with family as well, right? Whether it was leaves on their birthday, whether it was 1 year where we had a very hectic year, so we just gave everyone off between Christmas to New Year's, the entire company for the same. Our maternity leave policy, even for fathers here. We recently did a gender reassignment policy where folks who want to reassign their gender get time off with us. So there are several such initiatives that we're doing where overall in the company, people feel that they have a balance because life is hectic in the company, right? Here. And then we are working on the second piece of this, which is what we call our coaching, where we try to educate managers. We come up with a senior leader program. We've come up with this sort of what we're calling the Glamm Group program leading to our IPO, where we are incentivizing folks towards the IPO with accelerated ESOP vesting. So I think it's a mix of understanding that the time that they need with their family. It's a mix of giving them the learning and coaching opportunities, right? Where we are doing a lot of cross-functional coaching for folks, opportunities for them to get involved in cross-functional projects here, right? And learning and development opportunities. And finally, the right incentivizations as well to keep them all excited and motivated towards the goal. So I think it's a mix of all of that that we're trying to achieve as a company. We got, we were in LinkedIn's top 10 startups of India, I think a year ago. We were in, I think, the Fortune Employees of the Future list as well. So, we are starting to get recognized for some of this work as well. But it's something we try to do every day.
So it's in the DNA of the company then?
We are hoping so, right? We're trying to make it a very, very strong part of our DNA.
Wonderful. Darpan, let's come back to the technology part. Being a technology's first company, digital first company, I want to understand, don't you get scared that technology might take away your job someday? Then what will you do?
Take away my job?
Yeah.
That would be great. If a machine can do what I'm doing, that means I can do so much more of it. I can build something 10x bigger, right? Yeah. No, I think in all seriousness, I think, I don't think there's a real risk in general for people about their jobs because you evolve, right? And machines can add value, which is great. And the more value they can add, it means you're a lot more efficient here, right? And if you're a lot more efficient, there is a lot more that you can do here with us. So I would not fear if a machine can do my job. I'd probably welcome it because then there's a lot more that I can do. And for what I would do if I'm not doing what I'm doing now, I would love to, just interact with other entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, right, who are coming up, who are starting their businesses or trying to discover what they want to do. And work with them because I love this journey of creation. I love this journey of building something. And if I can do that with other young folks, today I don't have the time for it, right? But I think if I'm not doing anything, that's probably what I would be doing.
But aren't you doing through acquisitions that the same thing?
But we are, but it's different over there, right? There we are ultimately owning the company. So I'm doing it in a way for myself, right? I think I would love to do it for others, and that would be the big difference.
And when we talk about yourself right now, where do you see Good Glamm Group going ahead in next few years' time? How do you plan to make it the best, the #1 brand here in India?
So I think that is the ambition, and the ambition is beyond that. We have let's take with the mission for our brands. All our brands have a mission to have a purpose and to be highly loved and be highly memorable, right? So I'm hoping that all our brands, whether it's My Glamm, our makeup brand, Mom's Co, our mom and baby brand, Sirona, our intimate hygiene brand, Organic Harvest, our organic personal care brand, or Sen Botanica, our world ingredient hair care, skin care brand. All of these need to be market leaders, need to be amongst the top brands in the country, loved by consumers. But we don't stop there. We want them to be global brands. Our larger vision is to be the first global beauty company to come out of India. That's the vision. If, L'Oreal came from Paris, Estee Lauder came from the US, Shiseido came from Japan, Amore Pacific came from Korea, there is going to be a Good Glamm Group that's come out of India, right? Which is going to be global. So I think that's our longer term vision. We have laid the foundation for it. We are working towards that. We've launched a brand in the United States of America. Our next step is now to take our Indian brands in the United States of America. So there is a lot of work to be done. In the interim, we are hoping for an IPO end of next year. And that's it, and keep at it.
So a lot of action is happening at Good Glamm Group, and I hope the audience here will enjoy it and listening to it, and they look forward to it, what all is happening here. So before we close it, Darpan, I want to have a quick chit chat with you. I mean, a rapid fire kind of a thing, where I will not give you time to think about.
Oh God.
So are you a reading person or a movie watching person? What do you prefer?
I'm neither, actually. I will, reading, but not books. And I'll tell you why. Yeah. I have a problem. When I start a book, I have to finish it. And typically when do I get the time? It'll be after I finish work, by about 11:30 p.m. I finished all my calls, etc. If I start a book, then I'll be up till 4 a.m. because I have to finish the book. I'm a voracious reader. So a few years back, I just had to give up reading because I was just not sleeping here. So I will read at night, but then, I'll finish all my reading in terms of whether I'm reading the news, catching up with the New York Times or Wall Street Journal or Economic Times or Times of India, right? Catching up on typically my day actually will start with ET and TOI, and it'll end with the world news, with the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times for me. So I think catching up on my reading, and it's the same problem for when I'm watching. Because if I start something at 11:30, if I start a show at 11:30, it's finished. I have to finish all the 6 episodes or the 8 episodes, right here. So I don't watch too much. I love going for a movie in the theater. Oh. So that is what I love. So you will see me on a weekend, with my wife, catching the latest English or Hindi movie that's out there.
So the latest movie that you watched in a few days' time, and one insight that you loved the most, I mean, that you would love to incorporate in your life itself.
From a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's see. What are the latest movies I saw recently? I saw Bade Miyan Chote Miyan very recently, the Akshay Kumar Tiger Shroff starrer. So the movie that I recently saw is a movie called Blackberry. And it was about the Blackberry. I don't know if you remember the Blackberry device. We all had it back in the 2000s. And I think what I loved about that movie was that one scene when, I forget which was the company, there was a much larger company that wanted to buy out BlackBerry. And the BlackBerry CEO came back to the office. And this was when BlackBerry was already successful. But he came back to the office and he says, we don't want to get bought out. And he went into the factory and the R&D team and everybody. And he said, in the next 90 days, we have to double sales. If we double sales, we'll be out of reach for this guy. He won't be able to pay our price. And the way it galvanized everybody to just go after it. So he saw, maybe it was a moment of crisis for him, maybe it was not, right? It was a crisis because he didn't want to sell, but it wasn't a real crisis. It was someone trying to buy you out for a good price, right? But it was a moment of crisis, and he turned that into an opportunity, and they actually did it. They increased sales so much that they just went out of reach for the guy. And, and there were a lot more other insights because that, it came from a technology that was so cutting edge to then it becoming obsolete in literally a decade, right? Once the iPhone got launched. So I think that movie was fantastic from a lot of standpoints.
Okay. So Darpan, being into beauty segment, which one makeup product that you love to use on yourself the most?
See, I'll tell you an interesting story, okay? I travel and I'm traveling, I'm going to meet retail, I'm going to meet Shoppers Stop, or I'm going to meet my suppliers, etc. And I will have makeup products with me in my bag, in my hand check-in. So when I'm going through the airport security, a lot of times they're making me open my bag. And people all around are looking and saying, what is this guy doing with a foundation and a lipstick and a nail paint and all of that in his bag over here, right? So for a lot of people, a lot of the times they're like, wow, this guy's using everything on his face. So, from I think using our concealers or our, the Total Makeover FF cream under the eyes is a secret weapon that I have, because as an entrepreneur, you don't sleep well. You start getting those bags under the eyes. So you put a little bit of those color correctors and concealer there and that makes a big difference.
Oh, nice. Being a digital first brand, where do you shop from, online or offline?
If it's convenience I want, online. If it's experience I want, offline. So you'll never see me shop offline for convenience. Offline will be, I want an experience. I want to go to the mall. I want to take my daughter. I want to, just have a nice retail experience, go to a nice store. Then I'll go offline. Convenience is what I want now, what I want tomorrow. I'll just buy it online.
So I want to give advice to the budding entrepreneurs of tomorrow. What 3 qualities they should build to become successful going ahead?
I would say first, just do it. Don't think too much. Don't mull. Take the plunge. I think most entrepreneurs, I have so many friends and family members who want to do something. So, right at the edge, they are just about to take the plunge and they're holding back. So first I would say take the plunge, right? I think that's step number 1, right? After that, it's persevere. Because everything takes time. Every day is a new challenge. So you just have to keep doing it. You keep finding a way to keep surviving, keep staying in the game. Keep doing it. And third is, as you're in that journey of keep doing it, recognize your tipping point. And when that tipping point comes, leap. Leap like you've never leaped before. Because that time the wind is behind you, right? And take the most advantage of that, right? And you know what? This cycle just continues, I've seen. That you will keep persevering. Tipping point will come, might be small or big. You will leap. You've reached the next stage. Now keep persevering. Again, it might take 5 years for the next tipping point. Again, you do it. But if you're not there persevering, that next tipping point won't come. So I'd say this is it. There is no rocket science behind entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is take the plunge, keep doing it, and when you find that tipping point, leap like you've never leaped before.
So this is the strategy that you are following, and it is leading to success for you as well. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you, Darpan, for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it. We loved it. See you again next week. Till then, bye-bye.